Rachel Downey and welcome to round 4 of the Britcar MSA British Endurance Championship. Coming up on today's show, we have all the action from Brands Hatch, we talk to Team Bull Run driver Martin Byford, and we have a qualifying lap from Matt Smith from the Redgate Virgo Motorsport team. Brian, is the short Indy circuit at Brands Hatch good for endurance racing?
Well, I think so, but then I'm a spectator's commentator. I'm a great believer in everything being for the spectator. And of course, at the Indy circuit at Brands Hatch, it is fantastic. You can see the whole circuit from almost anywhere. So, great spectator value. And of course, with the longer races of endurance racing, you really do get good value for money.
And also the track limit. There's a lot of people talking about the track limits, a lot of opinions. What do you think of the track limit?
Well, I think that the drivers have just jolly well got to get used to the idea that they've got to respect the track limits.
Yeah.
This is an imposition by the Motorsport Association, the governing body of motorsport in this country. And drivers are very reluctant to accept it, but they must, because they're being very heavy about it, the governing body. They have a system of penalties which, if they go over the white lines, which demarcate the limits of the track by more than 2 wheels, then they will have increasingly severe penalties applied, depending on how many times they do it. So it might be a driver warning flag to start with. It will then be a 5-second penalty, then it might be a drive-through penalty, and then ultimately it could be disqualification. And it's no good these guys kicking against the pricks. The fact of the matter is, the MSA are very serious, and so are the FIA, the international governing body of the sport.
Thank you, Brian. And, well, now competition time. For your chance to win 2 weekend tickets to the Britcar 24-hour race at Silverstone, all you need to do is answer this question correctly. The Bull Run team race what type of car in the MSA British Endurance Championship? Is it A, a Ferrari 458, B, a Ginetta G55, or C, a Lotus Evora? To enter, go to the Britcar website at www.britcar24.co.uk/competition. And the winner of last month's competition was Brett Smith from Basingstoke. Almost time to get the racing underway now, but first, let's have a look at a pole lap from Matt Smith.
Round number 4 for the Britcar Championship sees us coming to Brands Hatch for the Indy circuit. A circuit which has got challenging corners, lots of undulation, and no more so than Paddock Hill Bend. The first corner, extremely steep, downhill, thrash through the bottom of it, and then a steep climb back up towards Druids. The very tight 108 degrees hairpin, which lets you power hard out of that towards Graham Hill Bend. Got to get a good exit from Graham Hill Bend along the Cooper Straight, so you can be strong as you go through Surtees, and then try and pull the car back as you come up towards McLaren. Out of McLaren, through Clearways, the track drops away from you. It suddenly starts coming back towards you through Clark Curve as you accelerate hard down the Brabham Straight, and that's a lap of Brands Hatch, as quick as that. 1.19 miles, and Britcar are going to be rather exciting around here. Big powerful cars in a very tight and twisty circuit.
So how tough is a lap of Brands Hatch? Well, Matt Smith can tell us all about it. Matt, talk us through the lap, mate.
Right, so you're coming along, start-finish straight here, and you brake very heavily for Paddock Hill Bend, chuck it into Paddock Hill, come along across to the right, and then as you come down, the car always bottoms out quite heavily along here, so then coming up onto Druids Hairpin. Druids Hairpin down to 2nd gear, hang on the outside, cut on the apex, then drift out wide, coming down towards Graham Hill Bend now, into 3rd gear, come through, and now onto the Cooper Straight. Cooper Straight, come up to 4th gear, and then you're coming into Surtees. Surtees, little lift, flick round to the left, come through now into Clearways, probably the most difficult part of the circuit. Down to 3rd, bring it round all the way around Clearways, then back onto the start-finish straight, and then back up through the gears into 5th.
What exactly is it about this place that makes it particularly technical?
Particularly technical, the most difficult part I think is Clearways. The whole Surtees Clearways section, you've got to get that line right. Without that, your lap's ruined.
Take care yourself, have a good one.
Thanks very much, cheers.
In 24th position we get Dutton and Pittaway in their Ginetta G55 car. In 23rd sees Lunn and Stewart in the first of the Chevron GR8s. 22nd, Coulson and Pitch in the Motion Sport Lotus Elise car. And in 21st position, we get Glynn and Clark in their TVR V8. Into 20th for Clark and Gibson, Intersport Racing's BMW M3 car. And 19th sees the Smiths in the Ginetta G55 Co-op car. 18th for Holden and Barrett in Team Holden Racing's TVR. And in 17th we get Milam and Guglielmi in their Lotus Elise. 16th position, the first of the Top Cats Racing Marcus Mantises for Harrison and Wilson. And Head on O'Neill in another team car comes in 15th. Great qualifying for the Track Torque Chevron GR8 of Jarvis and Fields get them into 14th. And then we have the Webbs in their M3 GTR in 13th place. Alongside them we have Arbor and Poole in another M3 GTR in 12th. And 11th place we see the Porsche 996 Cup car of Sharp, Jones and Pittard. In 10th position we get Shelton and Faulkner in their BMW M3 GTR. And then we get Deaver and Hollings in the FF Course car in 9th. 8th position, Phillips and Story, Motion Sport Ferrari 458. We haven't seen this car in 7th yet. It's Headlam and Stanley, their Lotus Elise. Good qualifying in 7th. Great qualifying for Adams, Green and Byford to get the Lotus Evora into 6th. And after the disaster at Snetterton, Beaton and Finmore deserve a good race as a qualifying 5th. 4th for Millard and Heward in the SR2. 3rd position for Mole and Murrows in the Optimum Motorsport Ginetta G55. 2nd position, Bailey and Schultz, Ferrari 430. That means Javier Marcillo once again has pole position in the Mosler MT900R. He is the class in qualifying.
Well, you tend to expect big budget sponsorship in Formula One or NASCAR.
Well, we just, I think it appealed to the fact that we're the underdog. You know, we've spent 20 years in historic motorsport and vintage motorsport, and wanted to get into a more modern motorsport. And Nestle were great. They saw the fact that we weren't a big team. They liked the idea of joining forces with a small outfit, more friendly outfit, more accessible to the public. And Britcar is really where we wanted to start in GT, heading towards British GT next year and the year after.
It's a bit unusual to talk about a late start to the season at the 4th round, but Jamie, not exactly going according to plan, has it?
No, the plan was to do the whole season, but due to various delays in getting the car built from last year, Chris decided over the winter to go at it properly. We've hit a few delays, which has meant we've missed the opening couple of rounds. We're trying to make up for it as we start here at Brands.
So what was the big problem you were trying to tackle in the early season?
We had problems with gearboxes and engines last year, so we've gone for a built engine from a proper engine builder. We've gone for a gearbox, which is a motorsport gearbox, and just when you indulge in these projects on a bespoke car, which the Lotus we race for Land and Racing is, these things are always going to cause delays if they're not ready on time. A week here, a week there, and you soon run out of a month.
So here we are at the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit for this Britcar race, and we're looking forward to a fantastic event here, Joe. It's a 2-hour race instead of being a normal 3-hour race, and the guys are coming round on their warm-up laps. Keep your eyes on the Lotus Evora of Martin Byford, just going through your shot there on his warm-up lap, just cracking qualifying, getting the temperatures not of course number 70 on the warm-up
That was
lap.
like a stuck throttle, the speed he went off out there. You don't expect to see that.
Oh dear, on the warm-up lap. That's a Deaver and Hollings car, eh? Oh dear, that's far too early in the race for that to happen.
Is he going to get going again? Did he get it in a gear? Is he buried in the gravel?
Well, I think they're going to have to do an extra warm-up lap for that. Will they get the car out with the gravel is the big thing, Joe. What do you think happened there? Was that just was it the back went?
I don't know. I mean, it looked like the speed was about 20-30 mile an hour too quick, and he's back on his way again, so he's going to have to catch the field up, but that was a lucky escape.
There he is, carving his way through the field back to his starting position. I don't know if he's going to be allowed to do that. We'll let Race Direction call the shots on that one.
I'll not make a call on that. I don't know exactly what the rules are, but a nice tight formation as they take the start this time round.
And it's Marcillo's car on pole position. Javi Marcillo has been the man in qualifying, and he's the man at the start of the races to come down towards that iconic Paddock Hill bend, and it's all about just trying to get your cars through here, guys. Very early in the race. It's a 2-hour race. It's more of a sprint race than what we're normally used to with Britcar, but as they come up towards Drews, it is Javier Marcillo who leads the way from the Bailey and Schultz Ferrari in a fine second place, then Molan Murrells in the Ginetta G55 Cup car already up at the third and on the pace, Joe.
Yeah, just half a second between these guys in qualifying. It's going to be interesting to see if the Ferrari can give our huge, great big our leader the, what do you call it?
Well, Surtees is a difficult corner to try and get through. Never mind what you're trying to say. Tongue-tied as we always do get in the commentary box here, but Surtees, and you come through McLaren's. Now, Martin Byford's car, the little Osavora, number 51, qualified extremely well, and we're going to have to keep our eyes on that car.
Is this the car that was off of the green flag lap?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a stop goal. Now, we're going to hand down to Jake in the pit lane, and Jake's going to give us the run-through of what's happening.
Well, the reason the FF Course Ferrari had to make a penalty was because it started out of position. It fell to the back of the grid and tried to take its place back on the start, and that's illegal.
So Javier Marcelo makes his way through Druids, and we come back in with the number 33 car. Now, it's good to see them having a better run here, because the number 33 car beaten in Finmore. Remember Snetterton a couple of weeks ago, Joe?
Yeah,
absolute disaster.
It was
for me.
A disaster, yeah. And having a better run of it this time round. These great big cars on this, this is probably the shortest lap of the calendar.
1.19 miles is the Brands Hatch, Indy.
And it's great to see them. Not much opportunity to stretch their legs.
That Rapier, that SR2 looks like it's going to maybe have a little go to get past the Marcus Matus here, but if it could have gone wrong at Snetterton for the beaten in Finmore car, it almost did. They went off the alternator failure. I think we saw them getting towed back in, stuck throttle at one point, and it's just, stuck throttle is not what you need in a car of this size.
Terrifying, isn't it?
Absolutely terrifying. But down the Brabham Straight, they call it a straight here at Brands Hatch, but not much straight about it. And up the inside goes the Rapier. Good move in the SR2. The big flat six engine burbles its way past, and a good clean pass there. They were quite chuffed with that, because Paddock Hill Bend's not an easy place to be overtaken. Now that's it. The Pete Smith and Matt Smith car in the pits far too early for a pit stop for them.
Not scheduled, is it?
No, they've got some issues there. So, Jake may have a bit more info, and we'll find out with Jake and Pete what's going on with that car.
Peter, not the best of starts. What happened?
Well, it was really extraordinary. Obviously, at the start of a race, we're very heavily fueled, and the car always smells a bit. But for some reason, when we got going, I got petrol vapour in my eyes, and I just couldn't see. I was all right for a couple of laps, few laps, and then going into 30s there, I just, both eyes filled up with water. 4 cars, or 3 or 4 cars past me, and I couldn't see. So I did one more lap, and it just got worse and worse. And I thought it was ridiculous. I radioed the crew to say I was coming in. And of course, as soon as I'm in the fresh air, my eyes have cleared. So it's a very, I don't understand it.
So a dramatic
and a problem here as well. Look, back right-hand wheel hanging off.
Being in Finmore car in trouble again. What were we just saying about them having a bad set to them? But what a shame for Pete Smith getting some petrol vapours in your eyes. That must really sting, especially with the heat.
This is like Gio Villeneuve here. Look at this. The wheel here is at a huge angle. He's going to be so lucky if that doesn't fall off and do loads of damage. But he's creeping it back in.
Actually looks like one of your race cars in the past.
It does. That's a setup I quite like.
But they've driven that one into the garage, so the number 33 car is already in the wars. We don't like to say that because they did have such a bad Snetterton, but the Clark and Gibson car making its way in towards Graham Hill Bend, and Jake has got some more info for us in the pits.
Well, Chris Brayton has sadly had to bring the Marcos into the pits. The right rear wheel was actually at a 45-degree angle, so it's most likely a wishbone failure. Hopefully they can get it back out onto the track as soon as possible.
Absolutely, yeah. Wishbone failure, nothing worse. Hopefully we can get that back out on track. Meanwhile, here comes the number 70 car. They made good progress after kind of launching it into the scenery on the warm-up lap.
It's maybe just embarrassment.
Not what you want to be doing, but there's a bit of action there. But join us after the break.
Welcome to another episode of Racing No Filter. Joining me in sunny California, Bill Wood, and down in sunny Florida, Peter Keene.
We're going to take a look at some of the products HPD has created for the 2012 Honda Civic, and specifically we're going to show you how to install an adjustable sway bar.
Until then, folks out there, you take care.
Welcome back to Brands Hatch, and we pick up once again with the number 70 car after the little misdemeanour on the very first lap of the race, before the race had even started, the warm-up lap. They've got out of the gravel trap, they've had their drive-through penalty for making their grid slot back up, and now they're under huge pressure from the Guglielmi Lotus Elise number 94 car, and it looks like he's having a little look up the inside into McLaren's, and it's very, very close as they come through. Clark curve down the Brabham Straight, but the big Ferrari should really be able to power past and stretch its legs.
Yeah, along the straight, but the wee Lotus there had a good dive up the inside. side. Quite a nimble wee thing, obviously, and it could change direction quite nicely.
One of the other Lotus Elises coming to pits, that's a Headlam and Stanley car. Hopefully we'll find out what's wrong. Maybe Jake can bring us some news in a minute, but we've got Marcelo Moles and we've also got the Mo Murrow car, but we've also got the Schultz and Bailey car, and they're right tied together. But oh no, it looks like another problem for this car. So Jake, what is going on?
Well, the 55 cars had to bring it in. Unfortunately, the car's been jammed in 4th gear. So it's just a little bit of light pit work, and hopefully they can get it sorted out from here.
Hopefully they can get it sorted out from here, but look, once again, 33 drives back into the pit garage, and here comes a Shelton Faulkner car, the BMW M3.
Another problem, yep, straight to the garage. It's the beauty of the long race, they have a chance to fix it, but you're not going to be winning any prizes.
Now, they had issues at Snetterton as well, remember, you could probably see the car getting lifted away. So obviously mechanical gremlins start to creep back in as we see the Lotus Elise making its way back out for Headlam and Stanley, so hopefully they can maybe try and get more laps under the belt.
Pressure being applied to the G55 here as well.
Yeah.
The G55 runs wide. You remember the corner cut, and I know that the officials are red hot with the track boundaries here, and I see that there has been a penalty handed out to the number 89 car.
Oh, exceeding track limits.
If you remember the touring cars here, there was a lot of penalties handed out. We're going to hand down to Jake here. He's got somebody down in the pit lane that can bring us a bit of information.
Well, the Steve Glynn TVR has just brought it into the pits. They're currently struggling with a bit of a misfire at the moment, and their tyre pressures are a bit too high. So they thought while they're trying to fix the misfire, they might as well bring it into the pits, drop the tyre pressures, and see how it goes.
Yeah, they head back out on track, so hopefully that's going to solve itself. It's not what you want, a misfire. We know all about that, don't we?
We were kings of misfire when Joe raced Formula Ford, but high tyre pressures as well. Obviously, you've got to get the handling right when you're driving a V8 TVR around the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. It's happening very quickly. But there's the Mole and Murrow's car ahead of the Phillipson Story. Jake, some info, please.
Well, sadly, more problems then with the Shelton and Faulkner BMW. This time it's traced to an electrical fault. They were given false readings, and now some part of the car was supposed to be overheating. They got a reading of 215 degrees. Now, it's definitely not that hot. They decided to bring it in and be safe, but unfortunately for them now, the rest of the race is just an extended test session.
Thanks for that, Jake. Yep, as he said, an extended test session. It's a disaster when that happens. But
diving contact to the top of Paddock Hill Bend there, and is that the number 70 car that's been, shall we say, torpedoed by Mole and Murrells in the Ginetta G55 car?
Yeah.
Joe, expert eyes. What did you see happening there?
It's hard to say. It was a difficult angle. I mean, you've got to go for it, but this is an endurance race. You don't very often see moves as desperate, Dan, as that in an endurance race.
Oh, and he's got a puncture. He's picked up a front left puncture there now. He's now doing the drive of shame. He's just completely wiped out a car at the top of Paddock Hill Bend, and he's got to do that whole lap back, and you're just thinking, oh, what a nightmare.
Time to get in your car in the car park and drive home, I would imagine, after that.
So the SR2 comes in the pit lane. Hopefully this is a scheduled pit stop, and things will be happening now. 2-hour race, so it's a shortened race distance as the FF course car of Deaver and Holling sits completely grounded in that deep pan gravel trap that we have here at Paddock Hill Bend.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody drive out of that gravel trap at Paddock Hill Bend.
No, it's not something that you go into and come back out the other end. Number 88 car in the pit lane for their little pit stop. That's Coulson and Pitch.
And the safety car out, obviously everyone taking advantage of that, and it's their time to do their driver changes. It's a very busy pit lane.
Yeah, Mole and Murrells, they will not be happy with that one, but neither will happy will be the number 70 car, Deaver and Hollings.
No, now they're going to get going again here.
Yeah, well, let's hope they have. Let's hope there's nothing damaged in that car as the 17 car makes its way from the pit lane back out onto the racetrack.
Very short pit lane at Brands Hatch, very busy pit lane, and you'll see the speed limit being obeyed by these guys.
And you also get released just right where you're not wanting to. You're getting released right at the top of Paddock Hill Bend.
Yeah, you can overtake in the pit lane exit if you get a good run, so you obviously don't want to do that when someone's coming at the pit lane.
Look
but
at the gravel. That's scooped up a lot of gravel and it's under train. Hopefully it's not depositing it across the track.
And Marshall's doing a great job as they run back towards their post, and that car is clear of the gravel, but look at it.
Yeah, problem is you get gravel locked. Yeah, you get gravel locked and everything. That could be stones.
You think that's in a gear?
It could be in a gear, it could be stones behind the caliper and the disc. Either way, it's not a good time for the FF course car as everybody else is making their way around just now. The number 69 car gets its way back out on track. One of the BMWs, the Webbs, and the BMW M3 GTR. Now we go green flag racing. We're away at the front. It's a great start by Javier Marcelo. He gets the hammer down and absolutely jumps ahead of everybody. In second place, that's the Track Torque Chevron GRA just now, and they're just about to get overcome by Bailey and Schultz as they go up Halewood in towards Druids, and a good move by the number 3 car. There's the extended test session car, which is just going out of shot. That's the Faulkner car.
And the number 89 car as well, having had his penalty for exceeding track limits.
A very unhappy driver making his way back to the pit lane there. No doubt probably going to see the team and say, what was that all about? But something come off a car. Did you see that on the main straight? Now that was off the little Lotus Evora. That's Martin Byford's car. It either come off his car or it was a bit debris that was already lying in the track, Joe. It was difficult to see. You can't see anything missing off it. But our man in the pit lane, Jake, will have a little bit more info and we'll hand straight back down to him.
Well, sadly, I'm afraid it's all over for the 55 Lotus. Those gearbox problems are now terminal. It's an experimental gearbox, and unfortunately it's let them down. Looks like we're going to have to wait to Alton Park to see these guys in action again.
Thanks for that, Jake. Yeah, a real shame for these guys. That's their race over, done and dusted. But hopefully, like you said, we will see them back fighting again at Alton Park.
Yeah, experimental gearbox. When that goes wrong, there's not much you can really do. As the Ginetta G55 car now trying to make his way back through the field after that little misdemeanour at Paddock Hill Bend. They've got the SR2. You can see that thing bouncing about. The SR2 looks like they're running that car pretty stiff, actually.
Yeah, we're going to hand out to Jake here. Hopefully a little bit more information from the pit lane.
Once again, not looking too good for Shelton and Faulkner. They've had to bring the car in again. They're using the test session of this race just to make some suspension adjustments. They may as well look at setup while they've got an opportunity, I guess. Sadly, no top 3 finish for them today.
Yeah, that's something that you can salvage when it all goes wrong with a big long race. Just use it as an open test session. They're probably making different changes, different settings, and sending the car out 5-10 lap runs and using it the best they can, considering that the day's gone completely wrong for them.
And Snetterton was kind of a disaster for them as well. They didn't do much running at Snetterton, and I suppose that was a 3-hour race.
I've never seen one like that before. Under the arms, getting dragged out the car.
We did talk about that at the start of the year at Silverstone. That's what the lapels in the top of their suits are for. But these guys at the Britcar, they're highly professional teams. They're running very quickly.
You see that pit lane exit as well. Yeah,
absolutely. It's right on the money as the Shelton Faulkner car comes out just behind the number 3 car, Bailey and Schultz, as they just tip in towards Druids, carrying a good turn of speed in that car. Now that's a car that's also had a lot of mechanical gremlins all year. So
early doors it did, lately, fingers crossed, let's not jinx him. He looks okay today, but did have a lot of problems early on with all that steel gunge and whatnot at the first round, cable ties and gaffer tape.
So there's the number 9 car just comes through Graham Hill Bend, and they're trying pretty hard on their sideways. Slide. Big sideways moment through Graham Hill Bend. So it's an extended test session. Make sure it doesn't make sure it goes wrong here, guys, as they come through clearways. And will they get past the Kit Kat car? Sounds a bit weird saying that, doesn't it?
Yeah, indeed. Great sponsorship deal there, Kit Kat.
Yeah, Nestle have done well to get on board with these guys. Have a break, have a Kit Kat. We're on board with them as they come in towards the pit lane just now. The Dutton and Pitaway G50 Cup car.
So is this a scheduled pit stop?
I think it must be for them. They're not really quick in the pit lane.
No, leisurely. It's hard to tell with the speed limit. No, this looks like it's...
Yeah, next driver standing there.
Yeah, scheduled.
Oh, and off and into the barrier. That's the number 9 car. What were we just saying about Shelton and Faulkner?
Using it as an extended test session.
Oh, they hit that hard and they were lucky to catch the last little bit of tyre wall at the exit of Graham Hill Bend there, because after that it was Armco, and that would have been even heavier to hit.
Are we going to see another safety car? Because it's on the inside. It's an unusual place to go off. I'm going to guess that he's dropped the wheel on the exit and spun across the... Yep, that's exactly what he's done.
Well, and out comes the safety car board.
Safety car again.
So
incident unit heading round to hopefully tow that car.
That's a commentator's curse there straight away, isn't it? Let's hope he doesn't drop it in the extended test session, and he drops it at the exit of Graham Hill Bend. We just saw him getting a little bit lively a couple of minutes ago. So absolute disaster for that car, the number 9 car. They won't be happy with that. They hit that quite hard. So the BMW M3 GTR, yeah, that's we'll soon see what happens when the recovery discovery gets round there. Hopefully it can just be a very quick tow, because they're holding these guys very, very slow in the pit lane there.
Great looking Kit Kat car, isn't it?
Yeah, well, like that.
Great to see big brands on the cars at this level. It's great.
And the door's not shut. He needs to shut his door. Well, there's one attempt. Come, give it a good slam.
Is that a problem with the door? It'd be an unusual problem, wouldn't it? I think that is a problem.
Yeah, he's going to have a break there. He's going to have to stop in the pit lane.
Yeah, good. Well done, Duncan.
Now he's slamming that door, isn't he? Here comes somebody to give him a little hand.
Get the tape out. Get it taped shut.
There we go. Door shut. Thank you from the marshals there. Marshals not just there to help on track. They're in the pit lane helping slam doors. And onto the track comes the Kit Kat car. So at the end of 1 hour, we see Javi Marcelo and Paul White leading the race comfortably after a cracking drive from Marcelo in the first part, ahead of Phillips and Story, with Adams, Green and Byford making up progress from their qualifying position into third. Miller and Hewitt in the SR2 Ray pair are sitting fourth, with Sharp, Jones and Pittard making their way up into fifth position. The Webbs are sixth, and Bailey and Schultz come in seventh place. Join us after the break.
Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new Go Racing TV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
The club, an amateur racer. Here at Go Racing TV, we salute you. And we want to give you all the tools and info to compete with the best. Find out how to do it all from your own garage by watching our Club Racer and Autocrosser shows. GoRacingTV.com, supplying all your video racing needs.
Welcome back to part 3, and I'm now joined by Martin Byford. Martin, hello.
Hello.
Martin, last year you were involved in the British Touring Car Championship. This year, obviously, you're involved in the British Endurance Championship. How does the style of racing differ?
It's a very different way of motor racing. Touring cars is very intense for a short space of time, 20-minute races at the most.
Yeah.
And you have to be 100% committed at all times. There's no saving of the car. You drive it as hard as it will go for every second of the race. Endurance racing is a very different game in that you have to make sure the car gets to the end of the race first and foremost. And when we've got, like here at Brands Hatch, 2 hours to make the car last, you can't drive the car in quite the same way. You drive it with a little bit in hand most of the time, and just to make sure that you look after the tyres, look after the brakes. So you drive the car in a little bit of a different way. You have a little bit of a different viewpoint on racing one-on-one with people. It's not always, if you catch somebody on a lap, you don't have to get past them that lap. You have the luxury of having a little bit of time to look at them and see where you're faster before you make a move on them. In touring cars, you don't have that luxury because somebody's giving you a bit of hassle from behind.
So obviously with the touring car, there's a lot more pressure necessarily compared to the endurance. Which do you prefer? If you could choose one race and one race only, what style would it be?
Really don't have an answer for you, if I'm honest. The two are so different.
Yeah.
Yes, you're motor racing in both disciplines, but they are entirely different things to do. Touring cars is incredibly intense and hard fought, and always up against some of the best drivers in the world. The guys at the front of touring cars are world class, absolutely. And it's great to go and test yourself against those people. Endurance is a very, very different kind of thing, and you're a lot of the time testing yourself, making sure that you're consistent and quick, being fast in the car without punishing it too hard is something that takes a long time to learn. It's much more of a team game because obviously you've got teammates, other drivers in the same car, so the car is never quite set up perfectly for you. It's always a little bit of a compromise to make sure that all the drivers in the car can get the best from it. So it's a very, very different thing. How would I put one from the other? I really don't know.
Brilliant. Thank you, Martin. We'll be talking to you a little bit later on in the show. Right, let's go back to the race.
And we're back here at Brands Hatch, and you can see the clean-up operation is underway. Our BMW, which had used it as a test session, saying it needs lifted.
That's a universal sign for a lift from the marshal and the recovery team. The car can't be towed, so they're going to have to lift that one or get it on the back off one of the flatbed tilts that they use here.
Shows us that the safety car is going to stay out for a little longer than expected.
Oh dear. Well, there was a misfire, there was high tyre pressures, but that TVR is now in the pit lane. And what does it look like they're doing? Well, Jake's probably right down there. Jake, can you give us an update on what they're doing to that TVR?
Well, we've got the 57 car in the pits once again, and it looks like even more problems. So what's happened this time?
Well, right from the start, unfortunately, we had an issue with what we thought was fueling at the time, but it looks like a high-tension lead or a coil has broken down. So we're down on certainly 7 of the 8 cylinders, maybe even 6, we're not sure. It's just incredibly underpowered, making it very hard work. You can't pull out the corners because you've got no punch, no torque. Going up the straights, it's sort of popping and banging and just not really taking you very far, I'm afraid.
Well, there's an hour left at least. Let's hope you can get to the finish.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we'll do, and hopefully Andy's just got in the car. We'll have a bit of fun with it. It does mean you can carry a little extra speed in, but the trouble with that is if you make a mistake, you've got no way out.
There we go, some insider information. They need to make a call at some point on safety grounds. I mean, if the thing is cutting out mid-corner, it's not the kind of circuit that you want to have a car cutting out right in the middle of one of these long, fast corners, but hopefully those guys can get that sorted.
No, but what a shame. They thought it was something else, and then it turns out to be a high tension. But into the pits comes the number 89 car. They did pick a penalty up for a bit of track, exceeding the track limits.
So tempting to do that at Brands Hatch, isn't it, with these huge, big painted green areas on the exit of the corner, but you're not allowed to use them.
Lovely seeing a 996 Cup car.
And it didn't need lifted in the end. We've got Jake in the pit lane as the BMW is just about to be shifted from the edge of the circuit. Jake.
So, how's it looking at Jensen Motorsport? Bit touch and go?
Yeah, it's going really well at the moment. We're in P2, but we've only got about 5 laps of fuel left in the car. We're obviously under safety car conditions, so we don't want to come in now and do a pit because I'd only be allowed us to put 25 litres in. So then we'll have to come back in again and stop. So if it's all cleared within the next lap or two, we should just make it in without running out of fuel and get our pit stop in, which should then fuel us to the end of the race. So it's very touch and go at the moment.
So it's really now or never?
It's really now or never, yeah. So we're going to either be parked up in a minute out there or in here. So,
well, we hope it's the latter.
Yeah,
good luck.
Definitely, thanks.
There we go. Those guys will be hoping that the safety car comes in, which it does, and we're back under racing conditions here at Brands Hatch.
And once again, it's the Marcillo car that just powers away at the front. And let's have a little look further back down the field. The number 57 car is right in the mix of it at the beginning. Let's hope at the front. Let's hope he doesn't have that intermittent problem where the car is cutting out. But up the inside goes Mole and Murrells. And also, who's that driving up the inside? That's a Porsche, the 996 Cup car. So the Marcillo car has to put its lights on. He's lost 2 places on this restart, and that's not going to do their mojo any good whatsoever as they make their way along.
We saw these real cautious restarts, didn't we, from the Marcillo car earlier in the year, and I think it just takes a bit of time to either get it up to temperature, get it up to speed. I mean, it's been cruising around under the safety car for the last couple of laps, so tyre temperature and whatnot has obviously dropped.
Yeah, tyre pressures will come into play with the Mosler. Big, wide slicks in it. It's a big proper Le Mans car there, so you're not going to drop it, and we've seen how easy it is for cars to disappear off the circuit.
Yeah, as we saw before the race had even started, to be honest, hadn't we?
So another pit stop coming in. The Geoff Steel Motorsport car. The Marshal has to get a little shout out the road there as somebody else to come back in the recovery truck. It's all action here in the pits at the Britcar round number 4 for Brands Hatch. And that's the number 26 car there, just rolling into their stop box. They'll be quite happy with that.
This will be our last round of pit stops, I would have thought, for those guys.
Well, it's really only meant to be the one pit stop, we would hope, as they're the Jensen and Lund
scheduled car. Pit stop.
yes, depending on who you're actually driving and what car you're in. The number 99 car, the Stewart and Lund car, and the little Chevron GR8, and they get themselves kind of back into contention with a nice pit stop and get onto the circuit. As here comes the Bailey and Schultz car. Now they are running well. They are running very well, considering we have had problems with that Ferrari for a couple of rounds. The Bailey and Schultz car, they will just want to get to the finish, and if everybody...
I don't think he meant to end up.
That looked a little bit wide, didn't it? It looked a little bit wide. Somebody was going in the pit lane, and all sorts of things happened. It was actually the 28 car, so that was my bad eyesight. That's an Abram Pool car in their BMW M3 GTR.
What eyes playing tricks with me? I thought I saw something fall off that car. Hopefully we didn't.
It may have just been a little bit of rubber build up, because you know what these Dunlop tyres like, they do chew a lot of rubber off them and throw them and get rid of them, and that might have just been sitting in a pocket in the car. You can see 44 mile an hour kilometres an hour down the pit lane there, and there's a 458 Ferrari of number 25 Phillips and Story.
It seems awkwardly slow in a racing car to be going that fast as it down the pit lane, but safety reasons there is definitely a massive lump of rubber hanging around in the middle of the pit lane, as the Ferrari that we saw in the gravel and the BMW that's been in the barrier are both dropped back off to a very bemused looking team.
Out of the pits comes beaten Infinibore car, the number 33 car. Now they're going to go out for another little hurl to see if they fix the problems, but here comes the Martin Byford car in the Lotus Evora, and they're right up behind, and they're going up the inside of number 34 Marcus Mantis of Harrison and Wilson, and a good move there, great move going into the clearways. Jake's in the pit lane, he's got some word in the street for us.
Well, Jacques Diva was in the middle of all of that, so tell me, Jacques, what went wrong?
Coming down the straight here into the quarter, just a white Jetta, unfortunately I don't know the number, tapped me on the rear end.
So are you going to be able to get it back out again?
I hope so. They're going to just look at it now and hope to go out.
Okay, well we hope so too. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jake. Yeah, that car will be absolutely full of gravel. It's going to have to get all the panels taken off, a flat floor on the Ferrari as well, so that's going to be needing a good shake before he heads out on track.
Yeah, you've got to watch where the gravel's gone in your rear foot. Who's that? Who's that? Ooh. That's a Tractor car. The Tractor car, and that's a mechanical as well. That looks like there's a possible head gasket going on that car.
It's like Days of Thunder as the oncoming traffic headed into the smoke there, wasn't it? Go high.
Jarvis and Field make themselves safe at the exit of Clearways, so a disaster for them. Back in the pits, Jake, more info please.
Well, the 77 Intersport BMW is back in the garage, and Kevin Clark, unfortunately you didn't even get a chance to get your race suit on. What's up with the car now?
It looks like the crank sensor's failed, and we've lost that much time now. It's not worth trying to get it back out. So
that's game over, I'm afraid.
Game over for us, yeah.
There's always Alton Park, unfortunate.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, disappointing day for these guys. A lot of funny little niggly problems, mechanical things, electrical things going on today. But it is endurance racing, so hopefully they can get something sorted out and we'll see them back in action at Alton Park.
Yeah, possibly the heat, possibly just the Brands Hatch. It's a hard circuit. I'm not saying it's a car wrecker at all, but it's a hard circuit to drive. You've got to attack it. It's only 1.19 miles, just 34 spins.
And he did clip him, didn't he?
Oh, he did clip that BMW of Abra and Pole number 34 there. Harrison and Wilson in the Marcus Mantis, the Top Cats racing car, facing the wrong way at Druid's hairpin there, and just collected that BMW. Let's hope that BMW hasn't got any right rear damage, because that was just where it collected him. And
we're
he's
waiting
managed
to see
do
a car hobbling around with a puncture here, aren't we? It looked puncture territory, that contact between the two of them.
18-point turn at the top of Druids. That lovely little bit of gravel that they've put in there just helps let the cars turn and get on their way. Doesn't seem to be any damage, and here comes Marcelo to dive up the inside at Graham Hill Bend. He needed to do that.
Even when you're leading, it's still really busy and frantic, this circuit. It's this non-stop action. It's such a short lap, as we said earlier on.
Yeah.
It's traffic the whole time. You've got to keep your wits about you with this.
Yeah, that car will be heading for the pit lane as here comes the Rapier. That thing just bounces off. It looks like they're running that car very stiff.
He's doing a great job considering how terrible the car looks around this circuit.
Yeah,
and again, here's this traffic situation we see.
Yeah, caught up with the back markers there. Who's heading for the pit lane, so into the break we will go. Join us very shortly.
With so much racing going on in the world, you'd have to be a four-headed monster to keep up with it all. Luckily, we have that. Join Peter Keane, Bill Wood, Errol Tucker, and their guest driver analyst each week for an opinionated look at the news coming out of the racing world. Remember, it's GoRacingTV.com for all your racing and video needs.
So Rob Wilson's car stuck in the garage. It looks like John Harrison's going to get in it, but Rob, it looks like you've taken a bit of a beating out there.
No. So we changed earlier on. John's been out there for about the last half an hour or so. But yeah, it looks like he's had a little bit of a knock with something, but what, I don't know yet.
And the car can still keep going?
I think so, yeah. If anyone can fix it, Brian can, so we'll have to wait and see.
All right, well, only half hour to go, as you say. Good luck.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Thanks, Jake. Some cracking pit lane coverage that we're getting from Jake today, and he's bringing us all the information that we need. And Paul White under huge pressure from the SR2 Rapier of Millard and Hewitt.
It's like he was trying to get out of that one there, Duncan, for quite a while when he was on the brakes there. It looked like he locked up and did a good job not to hit the side of him, actually, as they turned in.
Yeah, Paul White now in the Javier Marcelo Mosler, the MT900R.
Much car, isn't he? As he makes a nice clean move, a bit more sensible this time for the end of an endurance race.
Yeah, good move with the Rapier up there. And see, that thing, it doesn't really handle the bumps that well when we've been watching it, Joe. It seems to be a little bit bouncy happy, but we're going to head down to Jake in the pit lane.
Sad news, I'm afraid, down at Virgo Motorsport. Matt Smith's just brought it back in. Is that game over?
Yeah, it looks like it. We don't have a spare. The spring platform's gone, so that's it for us. It's a real shame because it was a good recovery drive. We were doing really well, but well, that's how it goes sometimes.
So all the eyes are now on Alton Park?
Yeah, for sure. We'll try and regroup and get back there, get it sorted again. We know we've got the pace, so just got to work hard, get back.
Sad to see you stuck here, mate. Good effort.
Thanks, Jake. Some great insiders' view of what's going on, and they're dropping like flies today.
They certainly are. It's starting to become a race of attrition here in this just 2-hour race at Brands Hatch. As we see the number 3 car, the Bailey and Schultz car, coming round that iconic corner of Graham Hill Bend. Reprofited quite a few years ago, and he gets in the power hard.
Yeah, tyres are starting to get hot, starting to get worn, and they're starting to move around quite a bit. A handful of a car around this short Indy circuit, the Ferrari.
As into the pits comes the SR2 Rapier, and that's got a problem.
That's a problem, yeah. Smoking.
smoke on the front left there, Joe.
He's done so well, hasn't he, the whole race long, and we're getting towards the closing stages, so that is not a good sign. And the Kit Kat car looks fantastic. Great big sponsorship, as we've already mentioned 3 or 4 times, but great to see.
Yeah, it is good to see, and they did have a little bit of a door issue in the pit lane earlier on, but they've got that closed and
smoking as well, isn't it? Let's hope that this isn't the end of the day for the Kit Kat car. We're going to call it from now on.
See, they're all starting to have bits of...
It is hard on the car, this circuit, though, isn't it? There's a lot to do. There isn't really a straight part of road.
That's got a bit too much camber on that.
Looked like he's hit something, doesn't it? Jake, hopefully you'll be able to catch up with the guys down there in the pit lane and find out a little bit more.
Well, it's all gone wrong for the second place Rapier SR2 car. I'm with Mike Millett. Mike, what's gone wrong?
Well, basically, the bottom wishbone's pulled out the top. So, whether or not we're running the car too stiff or somebody's managed to go over a rumble or whatever, I don't know. I mean, these things happen occasionally, but it's the first time it's ever happened.
And it's cost you some pretty valuable points.
Yeah. Well, it's motorsport, but at the end of the day, the main thing, nobody got hurt. So,
indeed, we'll see you at Alton.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, Jake. We are feeling extremely smug in the pit lane for spotting how stiff that car was. It was going really, really quickly, but it's obviously taken its toll and popped the top wishbone up.
Yeah, and pulling out the top. Let's hope they can get that thing retapped and refitted for the all-important Alton Park, Jake's home circuit. Jake's looking forward to going to Alton Park, I can guarantee from that. But up the inside as they go through clearways goes the Mole and Murrell's car, passing Paul White in the Mosler. Paul White doesn't need to panic here, he just needs to bring it on home. That is the most important thing.
Stroking it home, isn't he, at this stage of the day? He's just trying to keep it out of trouble, and everyone around him running into all kinds of problems, but all he needs to do is keep it on the island and bring it home, and this is going to be another... Hopefully, I'm not going to jinx him, another win.
Well, we've seen troubles for just about everybody. We saw the number 17 car come into contact with the FF course car where we are now, just a bit of a T-bonus at the top of the hill. They lost a lap or two in the pits with a puncture and getting some repairs, but it's Paul White, the man of the moment, up towards Druids. That is a big car for Brands Hatch. We keep saying it over and over again, but you know, Javier Marcelo did do the kind of the lion's share of the effort, if you like to say that, as they come through Graham Hill Bend and make their way along the Cooper Straight.
Look extremely big for the circuit, doesn't it? It's like he's driving around the car park.
Yeah, they drive it so well though, and it's got such good reliability, Joe. It's got such good reliability. Even though
we've seen it miss a beat, have we?
We haven't, no. And even though other cars fall by the wayside, they do get to fix their problems, because that's the good thing about endurance racing. But it's through Clark Curve onto the Brabham Straight for Paul White in the big Mosler MT900R, and he takes a well-deserved checker flag for Javier Marcelo, and the guys are going to be absolutely over the moon. The Bailey Schultz
sliding his way through Graham Hill Bend.
You wouldn't think it's his last lap the way he was going through Graham Hill Bend there, Joey.
Yeah, trying to clear the traffic, I think. You see, our winner was backing right up because he didn't want to end up with that big gaggle of cars ahead of him, and the checkered flag continues to wave for our second place man as they cross the line. Another great, solid result, and thankfully got rid of those reliability problems that we saw.
Well, haven't they just? The Bailey and Schultz car, everybody else better make note of this and better watch out from now. Your race results sees the Marcelo car winning with Paul White at the wheel there. The Bailey and Schultz come home in second place, and Mole and Murrells, after their troubles, get a good third place. Adams, Green and Byford get a fine fourth in that number 51 Lotus Evora, with the Phillips and Story car coming home in fifth place. Some cracking racing all the way down the field, but we're going to hand back down to our man in the know-how in the pit lane. That's Jake.
Fine. Well, Paul, 3 wins out of 4 for the Marcelo Mosler. Was it as easy as you made it look?
No, I mean, Javier had a lot of work to do in the early part of that, a lot of work. All I had to do was just keep it safe after that, but it's tough. Tough.
Closer than you wanted it to be?
No, we were fortunate with one of the safety cars, which built us up a bit more of a cushion than we expected, because of which helped with the pit stop penalty from last time. So, yeah, but then it carries forward again then, doesn't it?
So roll on Alton Park. Well done, mate.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, Paul, that's the kind of finish you wanted to the race, isn't it?
Yeah, we've had a really, really tough start to the season with this car. The first race, the radiator split open. The second race, the splitter fell off. And the third race, the drive shaft broke. So just the finish was good. P2's a dream. And the boys in that Mosler need to seriously worry. Andy was just over 30 seconds behind the guys. No, we were 30 seconds behind the guys. And the next race, we're going to beat them.
I was about to ask you how long is it going to be, but you've just answered that for me.
One race. We're going to beat them. We're going to beat them. We'll try.
Yeah. Well, Andy, that last sort of half hour, how difficult was it to keep the pressure on?
It's very tricky. The car's, not ideal for Brands, and we've got a bit of a problem with the dampers, so it's really hard work to keep it on the track. Lots of understeer and a bit of oversteer at the exits, but it's good fun. You just got to keep concentrating and try and keep the momentum going, and just keep those 47s as much as I could, and see if we could pressure them them a bit. We got back 2 laps, was it? So I was quite pleased with that.
Yeah.
But just not enough time at the end to get that last lap back. So it was a good scrap. It's good fun.
So if all holds together for the rest of the season, you could go for that championship.
I'm not sure about the points. We're fairly tight on points, but we'll have a go. We'll keep fighting until the end. So
Too right. We're looking forward to seeing it. Good luck.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Okay, so Martin Byford, many happy returns and driver of the day. Could you have asked for better?
What a fantastic weekend. Pole this morning, fastest lap during the race and the class win. And then you come up with driver of the day at the end of it. That's fabulous. Just a great weekend.
So in terms of the championship, things are really going strong.
Really good. I think we're 2 points clear overall now, which is fantastic. Halfway through the season, we're at the front, so we're definitely in the ballpark. We're in the game for the championship. I think the class we're a little bit further ahead, which is fantastic. It's even better. But today, honestly, the car was just fantastic. The guys gave me a call on the radio and extended my stint. And at that point, it was kind of I didn't have to look after the tyres anymore, and I kind of got on it. And I think it was 86, 88 laps in that we set the fastest lap of the race, and like on tyres that had done 1 hour and 20 minutes, just phenomenal. The car was just really, really good. Great fun to drive. The traffic was fantastic. Catching people and passing people every lap around here. It was really, really good fun. I've had a fantastic day.
So your results: championship order mid-season sees Adams, Green and Byford still leading with 126 points from Marcelo, Centrano and White in second place on 124, O'Neill and Huggins in 122, with Phillips and Story car behind them on 120. So everything extremely close at the top of Britcar. But we're going to head back to the studio. From myself and Joe Tanner, we shall see you next time.
Now, Martin, we are midpoint here at the season, so you already have the points lead. What racetracks are you looking forward to racing on next?
So the next race for us is at Oulton Park, very much a driver's circuit, very tight and twisty in places. I think we're going to go quite well there. I think our car will suit the circuit there. And then we finish off at Donington Park, which I think suits our car. We should be quite strong there. So it's a bit give and take. We're strong at one, not quite so strong at another circuit. But we should be okay for the rest of the season.
Do you feel that pressure, knowing where you are right now and how well you're doing? Do you feel a pressure on you?
Not really, because we, as a group of people, we're all working together for the same thing. We're doing the best job we know how to do every weekend. And it's only really at the end of the weekend you kind of sit back and look at the points and see where you are. It's fantastic to be leading halfway through, but what we really want to be doing is leading it after Donington Park.
Very true, very true. And Brian, what teams would you say are underperforming right now?
Well, it's really quite interesting at the present moment, because if you look at the engine capacity of the cars and so on, the size of the cars, really, the Moseley ought to be way out in front. But the whole ethos of Britcar is that you try to level out performance so that everybody's in with a chance of winning. It's the car that's going to win the championship, remember, though the drivers think it's very important. And I think there are some underperformers in this championship at the present moment, not because they haven't done well themselves, but the fact is that the cars have let them down, maybe. And Michael Millard comes to mind in the Rapier SR2. That car is so quick and it's got great potential, but they've had lots of little niggling problems. And then there's Paul Bailey and Andy Schultz in the Ferrari. And he drives the socks off that car, but he still can't quite get it home in the lead. These little things are what make and mar championships. But who's going to overperform is another story altogether. I don't know. I think the Moseley should win it, but I quite like the chance of this lot here.
Yeah, I quite like their chances as well, I really do. Well, remember to enter our competition via our website, www.britcar.co.uk/competition. You can find lots of information about all the drivers and teams, as well as the up-and-coming 24-hour race at Silverstone. That's all we've got time for today. Thank you to Brian.
Good luck with the wedding.
Thank you. And thank you to Martin.
Thank you.
Join us next time for round 5 of the Britcar MSA British Endurance Championship from Oulton Park. See you then.